right, buddy. Set up and speak up.
Okay. We're just gonna talk through it. We're gonna have our fun. Wyatt, what's your last name?
Mike. Ross.
Ross.
R-O-S-S.
Oh no, you guys do everything. You guys are golden. I told him we're gonna cut this for the show, and then we'll also give you a cut, so you guys can do whatever you want with it. If you want to plug it on a social,
and then the Instagram cut, since Instagram limits to 60 seconds.
and you guys can do whatever you want. If you want to clip stuff where he's just talking, whatever, however it works for you guys. So definitely, no problem.
As soon as I learn how to do all that, I'll do it.
What's going on, hockey fans? Dan K Show here in Tampa, Florida, and every once in a while you get to meet one of your heroes, and this is one of my heroes in the game of hockey here. My man Wyatt, Hockey Wyatt on Instagram. You got to go give this guy a follow. This thing is incredible. The people he meets, he's bigger than me. He's bigger than me. I wear the crazy pants, but this guy gets the stories. This guy gets the deep down juicy details from the guys throughout the NHL. Wyatt, how's it going, man?
Good, you?
I'm doing well. Let me ask you here. Let me ask you a little bit about how you got started with working with the NHL and being a broadcaster. How'd that get started for you?
Well, I was at a hockey camp down here in Florida called Lightning Made, and JT Brown, a former player for the Tampa Bay Lightning, came, and there's a lot of news coverage there, and out of random, they picked me to be interviewed. 3 other news channels saw my interview and liked it, so they wanted to do it.
Yeah.
3 of the 4 of them went on live, and the Lightning picked me up, asked me if I wanted to do locker room interviews, and the NHL picked me up, and it's gone on from there to Hockey Night in Canada, the All-Star Game.
This guy has been all over the world. If you haven't checked out Hockey Wyatt, you got to see this kid. He writes for the Florida Hockey Life magazine here, and the articles are pristine. I can't even write that well. That's why I talk for a living in front of the camera. Writing's tough. How did you get into this writing craze? How'd you start this journalism trail?
Well, Florida Hockey Life just picked me up, and, well, they looked at me and they wrote an article about me first.
Yeah.
And after that, all of a sudden they asked me to write an article. I didn't know what story I was going to write about, but at that time it was over the summer and we were going to Toronto. So they asked me to cover the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And it was kind of out of nowhere, but I just wrote the Hockey Hall of Fame article, and I've been doing that journalism trail ever since.
First of all, how Ellen DeGeneres hasn't found you yet and made you the Ellen DeGeneres show where she finds these young guys with such talent, and you have such a talent for this. Where'd your love of hockey come from? How'd you find this love of hockey?
Well, it actually was a humble start. We were in Georgia, and we have a cabin in Georgia, and there was an outdoor hockey rink, probably as big, about 8 feet wide length, and I just threw on some rental skates, skated around, and I was flying out there. I think I only fell twice, my first ever time I skated. And I asked my dad, is there a sport for this? Hockey or figure skating? So I looked into hockey and I decided I wanted to be a hockey player, and I took lessons when I was 4. When I was in Georgia, I was 3. Yeah. And I've kept on following that trail ever since.
The game of hockey, it's amazing how it finds people. I mean, the hotbed of hockey in Georgia there. I mean, sometimes hockey finds you in the weirdest place. I know we were talking to your dad off camera, and he said he didn't even start playing the game until he was 41. It's great to see what hockey does, folks. It gets into your family. It's a top-down system here. You have to have grandparents involved, parents involved. It's a full support system, and it's kids like Wyatt who are absolutely the future of the game of hockey. And let me talk about Lucas over here. This is always, in every broadcast duo, there's a John Madden and a Pat Summerall. This is my Pat Summerall. This is the guy who keeps me grounded. He's the guy who doesn't let me get too big-headed. And you always need somebody working with you in these broadcasts. Lucas, I know you had a few questions for Wyatt here. What do you want to talk to Wyatt about?
Yeah, so, I mean, Dan and I, when we do our broadcasts, Dan is always the guy who's all about offense. If the game is 10-9, he's happy. I like defense. We had a game yesterday, it was 1-0, and I love watching those games. Do you have a preference for offensive games or defensive games?
I think offensive games are more, you need to skate hard, fast, and that defense back there, you can rush and put an offense out there for defense. If you're going to play against a team that's a defensive team, you're going to want to do that. in a defensive game is when you have a team like the Tampa Bay Lightning. Obviously, we have strong defense, but forward is rock solid. You always want to play a defensive game with probably Coburn. If I was talking about the Lightning, Coburn can play a good offense. Put Coburn on the forward, put your two best defensemen on D, and play a defensive game. And like how you were saying the last game was, just be 1-0. As long as you come out on top, still win, still 2 points, still moving up on the leaderboard.
In case everyone's watching from the USPHL League office, I'm pretty sure I just lost my job with that breakdown. That's incredible. Yeah, Lucas asked me questions like that, and I say goal scoring. That's as simple as my answer is. And what I want to talk to you about, because you're not just a broadcaster. You're playing it on the ice, you know what I mean? And I don't see Doc Emmerich out there skating around with all the work he's doing, but you're Doc with skates on. I heard you had some pretty big games recently, an 8-goal, 2-assist weekend. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, it's true. I scored 5 goals and 2 assists in a 7-point scoring. And then I scored 3 of the 4 goals we scored on the championship game. We ended up losing that, but
this guy, you got to check it out, folks. Again, Hockey Wyatt on Instagram there. You go check him out. This guy's meeting everybody in the NHL. He's working at the All-Star Games, meeting the Hockey Hall of Famers. He's all over the world right now. And one thing I think that you are maybe even unknowingly an advocate for is young people in the game of hockey. And hockey's a sport that without the youth game, without that early development in your life, right, it's tough to get into it. It's a difficult sport to learn. It takes a lot of work. Talk to me, why should someone your age pick up a hockey stick, put on a pair of skates, and go try out this game?
Well, number one, it's better than lounging on your couch and playing Fortnite or something that's not even eligible.
Tell that to the NHLers you meet as well, because they tend to do it too.
Yeah, I noticed that. Somebody around 23 years old said, yeah, I played Fortnite, and I knew it had been just released. Yep. And I said, please tell me you played that when you were a kid. And he said, around 1920. Play that.
No, you got to be active.
You'd rather put on the skates, you lose a couple of pounds,
yep,
go on, have fun, meet new people, get new friends, and who knows, you could end up in the NHL someday.
That's right, and you can also learn a lot of discipline, and that's something I can't wait to see where your hockey future takes you here. My final question for you before I let you go, this man's got his birthday party. He's got his birthday party today. He took time out of his day. You want to talk about beauties in the game of hockey? This young man takes time out of his day to talk to us when he's got a birthday party to be at. Final question for you. I know it's going to be a tough question because you're a great broadcaster, great hockey player. What is the goal in your hockey career? Do you want to play first, broadcast later, or you just want to do it all?
Well, obviously, if I broadcast it first and did that till I was 50, I would not make it to the NHL. So what I would do, hey, Yager, you're still good. But what I would do is play hockey around 40, late 30s, early 40s, and go and do broadcasting for the rest of my career unless I find something new. Obviously, I'm still young, can still make new decisions, but I think I'd rather be player first, broadcaster later.
This, again, one more time, Hockey Wyatt on Instagram, folks. Thank you so much, Wyatt, for taking the time with us. Happy birthday to you. Happy belated birthday. This guy's got a birthday around Thanksgiving, so he's got the big-time party going on today. Hope it's a great one. You have to follow along with this young man's future. The game of hockey is going to change it. To you young folks out there who watch the Dan K Show each and every week, the game of hockey, it's so important. Go tell your friends. Let them know. Come play with me a little bit here. Let's go find some open ice. The game of hockey grows you as a person, both on and off the ice, and you can see it here with folks like Wyatt. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back with more Dan K Show after this. Nice work.
Thank you.
Seriously, man.